Thanks for joining us today for this overview of ACA Reporter. ACA, the Affordable Care Act. The ACA has a lot of requirements from the IRS, and one of those is that all applicable large employers, ALEs, must file with the IRS, and that is 1095s. Not only do they need to be distributed out to the employees by March 2nd, but you do need to e-file your 1095s with your 1094 by March 31st every year. And the ALEs themselves, that's any employer who has 50 or more full-time equivalents. And full-time equivalents, it's a monthly calculation, and it sums up all of the hours from your variable or part-time employees. And then there's a formula that gets calculated out. Then you add that with the employee count of those who are designated as full-time, and that will determine if you're an ALE or not. So a lot of requirements there in order to stay compliant with the IRS. Now, with ACA Reporter, what we really do is strive to simplify the ACA compliance process with an intuitive, integrated platform and personalized service. We have an incredible team of ACA specialists that'll help you through the process. One of the intuitive parts of our system is the ACA dashboard, and the ACA dashboard gives you insight into your compliance standing throughout the year. And so here we have an example of the dashboard as a whole, and I'll show you a couple little parts of it. But it really gives you that snapshot to say, am I in compliance or not in compliance? And therefore, do I have risk of penalty from the IRS, whether it's the A or the B, the sledgehammer or the tic-tac penalties? Do I have that jeopardy? So let's take a look at the report more closely in the upper left corner of the dashboard. This report, one of the big things that it does, it shows my compliance with the 95% rule. So the ACA regulations state that as an ALE, I must make an offer of coverage to at least 95% of my full-time employees. If I don't, I risk the penalty from the IRS, and that's the sledgehammer penalty that gets assessed to every employee you have with the little formula that the IRS has set up for that. And so it is important that you really pay attention to this throughout the year, because it is a monthly penalty. And so if somebody fell through the cracks in January, you want to make sure you're catching that early and that you're not carrying that penalty through every month of the year. Right. So as you can see on the screen here, we've got several months that we have a couple of employees that dropped us right below our 95% threshold. And so the nice thing about the dashboard is that I can just click on that too. It's going to drive me right in. I can see those employees. I can see their profiles. I can just drive right into their profiles. And I can say, oh, this is somebody who fell through the cracks. We didn't make an offer of coverage when we should have. Or this is somebody who we just didn't get their paperwork updated. So let's get that paperwork updated so that when the end of the year rolls around, we have very accurate filing with the IRS. One of the other challenges that a lot of employers have with variable hour employees, particularly if you have a high turnover rate, is you have employees that are coming and going throughout the year, and it can be difficult to maintain where do they fall within my measurement. Now, within ACA Reporter, you can use one of the measurement methods, either the monthly measurement or the look back method, and set that up. Variable hour employees tend to use employers tend to use the look back method. And so you can have employees who require an offer of coverage any month of the year. And it's not just during open enrollment, it can be any month of the year. And so this part of the dashboard really shows you in the month of, pick January, I have one person who's ending their initial measurement period, 3 people who are in the admin period, and 29 people who are in their stability period, and it's going to be ending in the month of January. So it really gives me a great snapshot of where I fall and who do I need to look at to avoid my jeopardy, that risk of any penalties that I have out there. One of the other parts of the dashboard that can be very handy is really taking a look and say, hey, how many of my employees are trending in a direction that I didn't set them up? And so on the left-hand side, you can see a widget, a pie chart that shows how many employees are trending towards full-time status who were actually hired as part-time or variable hour. It lets you stay ahead of the curve. So if this is somebody who you're intending them to become full-time, work more hours, great. They're on that path. If it's somebody who's working more hours than you anticipated, well, then you have an opportunity to take a look and say, okay, well, we need to readjust and we're going to make them full-time, or we need to maybe readjust hours and take a look and say, well, maybe we need some other part-time people to fill in. One of the places that people find themselves a difficult position in being able to calculate this is when you have an aggregate employer where you have employees who are working at 2, 3, 4 different places, and are you able to track all of those hours throughout the every pay period and really get an aggregated picture of all of that. And that's what the ACA Reporter system is going to do, is it's really just going to aggregate all that data. So if you do have more than one employer, more than one payroll system, payroll vendors, it's all going to get aggregated in. You're going to get that snapshot. One of the other nice things about the ACA Reporter is that every employee gets an ACA timeline. So you really get to see very clearly where they fall within the timeline. And here I have an employee who in 2021, they were hired and they started into their initial measurement period. That's overlapping with their standard measurement period. And then we're working our way all the way through their stability periods. At one point in time, they worked at 2 different locations, and then they stopped working at one, whether voluntary or involuntary, doesn't matter. It's just going to show on here, and you're able to track. And when you hover over the sections on the timeline, it's going to give you a snapshot. It's going to show you, if you're hovering over the measurement period, it's going to show you what the average hours per month were. So it makes it really easy to interpret the information that's out there. Now, come the end of the year, you get ready to do your ACA filing. One of the things you need to do is create your 1095s, get those distributed out to all the employees. So that's pretty quick and easy to do. There's a generate button that the system will go through, generate all the 1095s, determine who needs one, generate it for those, and then get those ready. We also do an error mitigation during that process. So it's not something you have to go through and say, oh, this person was a part of our ICRA plan, or this person was part of our self-funded plan, because you can, within ACA Reporter, have multiple plans. So based on the classes and the way the IRS allows you to break up the employees, you're able to do that. So pretty quick and easy to do that. And then, like I said, you'll get an error mitigation report that shows you some of the most common errors that are out there. So, we have an invalid SSN, invalid address. And again, those are drill throughs. So you're able to go directly to that. So you have here on this, we have 2 employees with an invalid SSN. I just click on that line. That's going to show me those 2 employees, and I can go straight to their profiles. So very quick and easy to do. Likewise, when you're ready to do your 1094s and you're filing with the IRS, it's really easy to be able to get in, do that, generate your 1094s, and then submit to the IRS. And then the IRS is going to give you that feedback, accepted with errors, and occasionally rejected. So pretty quick and easy. You get that feedback right in the system. It is important to remember that ACA is a year-round process. You want to monitor throughout the year so you're mitigating any risk that you have of penalties. Don't let an omission early in the year carry through as a monthly penalty throughout the year. Dashboard really helps you do that, helps you stay on top, reduce your risk of penalties throughout the year. If you'd like some more information, feel free to reach out to us at 888-561-2072 or send us an email at info@points-north.com. Thank you.